All right, welcome everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's go ahead and make sure you all can hear me. If you would please type the number 1 in the chat box. Let me know that you can. I would truly appreciate it. Morning, Helen. Afternoon, Jim. Afternoon, John. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you, everybody, for all your ones. Very much appreciated. I just want to go ahead and start up my drawing tools. And then get my camera going. It should be good to go. All right. There it is. Fantastic. So as we get started, keep in mind everything we look at is for education. Nothing is meant to be advice or recommendations. If you find something you like, make sure it fits your own personal risk profile or risk tolerance before ever taking on a trade or a setup or adding an indicator. All right. So I'm going to want some feedback today, if you don't mind, at the end of the event. I've kind of changed things around a little bit, and I want to actually get some. Let me back up. I created an agenda for Power Hour, and I want to actually start to put some times to them, saying we'll be done with this by this time, and make sure there's enough time for the topic of the week, and then making sure that there's enough time for finding candidates, or looking rather at your candidates. And then just give me this first time I've done it. I've had it written down. I got the document from Andrew today, and I changed the entire document around on Power Hour, adding pages, deleting pages, and so forth. So basically, we'll go through the follow-ups. It'll be a welcome, of course. We'll welcome everybody as we do. We'll go into economic reports, then we'll look at market review, upcoming trainings, our weekly topic, and then your stock review. And I do, as I said, want to put times to those of when I would like to start each one of them. Some will be a little bit longer than others. Some weeks may be longer. Weekly topic may be a longer topic. It won't always start at exactly the same time, but the goal is to have time for all of these throughout the day. All right, so here is our follow-us page. Make sure you are following along, folks. We put a ton of great content out there. Last week we created 17 short videos, which are going to be used as Reels and TikToks and on Facebook and on LinkedIn and shorts on YouTube, right? So there's a lot of content that goes out there. Whatever way you absorb it, you should see all of those. We also did 2 YouTube videos, 2 really cool ones, one on AI in particular. So, all right, and let's look at economic reports. So the first thing we're going to do is going to go over to Forex Factory. You can get your economic reports anywhere that you want. That's fine. I'm a big fan of this site, but once again, you're going to use whichever one you're good with. We got nothing today. Really, I want to see what's happening during the market. I don't care about a 5 p.m. And orange and red are the only colors I look for. Red are high impact. Orange is a moderate impact. So there's a 10 a.m. report of FOMC Waller tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's orange. He's not going to be that big of a deal. Core CPI, all the CPI numbers coming out Wednesday at 8:30. It's pre-market. If you're trading futures, you're going to have an immediate impact potentially on your trade. If you're trading the markets, that impact won't happen to you, at least that you could take advantage of, until the actual market opens at 9:30 Eastern. Then at 8:30 on Thursday, we've got a couple more. There's core PPI. This was CPI here, consumer price. This is PPI, producer price, and unemployment claims as well. In crude inventories, orange, but it is coming out at 11 o'clock. Brandon's got a trade just for that. Powell is going to speak at 3 o'clock on Thursday. You may see some lighter announcements. I'm sorry, lighter volume taking place. I'm trying to read one of the comments and talk at the same time. You may see lighter volume that day because of him speaking. And I don't know how much the Trump presidency, Trump talking about he wants rates to drop faster. A reporter asked him if he was asked to step down by Trump, would he? He said no. So I don't know how much of the market is hanging on his every word right now of what's going to take place. The market would definitely like to see rates go down faster, I believe. So we'll see. So that could be an important report. And then on Friday, we've got retail sales and Empire State Manufacturing. All of them are at 8:30. Yeah, Jim, exactly. It's Veterans Day today, so there's nothing out there really for economic reports. But Mondays, we occasionally get them where we just have no reports, and could happen any day, but I have seen a couple of Mondays before. All right, so Economic reports, done. Market review. Let's go take a look at the S&P 500. Let's go back to a daily chart. And wrong time frame. I knew as soon as I looked at it, I'm like, nope, that is not the right ticket. Okay, so this was last week. The 5th was Tuesday, right? Wednesday, all-time high. Thursday, all-time high. Friday, all-time high. Monday, two-day, all-time high. What in the heck is going on? Wall Street seems to like the decision on the economy and the market and so forth by the president-elect. We still don't have answers yet on the House of Representatives, okay? And realistically, historically, and that's all I can go off of, historically, markets like when there's separation. They don't really like one side to have all the power because there's no stopping gate, right? It's just whatever the president wants is going to get. Put it through, put it through, put it through, put it through, right? So we'll see how Wall Street takes the reaction from that. And that's been historically, they tend to like it better. I don't know what it's going to come out this time. But these all-time highs that we just keep hitting here are amazing. We're going to talk about crypto in a little while. I don't know if you have been looking at it lately, but the moves have just been fantastic. My wife, I do a lot of my crypto stuff on Robinhood, and I am not a flipper. I don't go and buy these junk coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, 100% full disclosure. I own both of them. I think we own Bitcoin. The most recent one was at 19,000. It's trading at 84,000 today. So I don't own a lot of it, but I definitely have enough. The first time I ever bought Bitcoin was $1,200, and it was a mistake. When I say a mistake, I figured out by mistake how to do it. My buddy told me to do it, and I put it on a credit card the very first time I bought it. But we've had these amazing moves in the market. We get up to this 6,000 level. Friday, we gap above it today. We go higher today, not by much, but a little bit higher. It doesn't matter. If we're making those small highs, it's great. Now, I want you to be very, 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 very cognizant. I had this conversation in our inner circle about a week ago. Yeah, it was last weekend, last Friday and Saturday, where we looked at and analyzed, as an example, this blue box and what happened in there and what my day-to-day mindset was. So if I take today off of our chart, well, for actually what I want to talk about, I don't need it off the chart. So one of the things that I look at is momentum. How is momentum working? Many of you know that I'm a big believer in gaps, gap statistics, and so forth, right? Gap analysis. And it's just a statistical analysis of what a stock tends to do after it gaps. Does it tend to fill its gap? How much of the gap does it fill? Does it tend to go up? How far up does it go? Well, we had this great gap from Tuesday to Wednesday of last week, right? Amazing, amazing gap, again, after the election, right? So this is it's a gap. This next day, Thursday, we got another gap and go, and that's what it is, gap and go. Shaved bottom. And if you look here, the low on Wednesday of last week was 58.64.89. The open was 58.64.89. We opened at the low. The next day, Thursday, the low was 59.47.21 and the open 59.47.21. Friday, the low was 59.76.76. The open 59.76.76. What does that to what the data I just read to you, the open and the low for the last 3 days, what does that tell you? What does that tell you about those particular days? Y'all tell me. Everybody's got fingers. Y'all got access to chat. Type it in. Yes, Jim, you're right. I'm not going to say it out loud yet. Exactly, Kevin. Good. Couple more. So the bulls, strong moves. The bulls are in control. It's bullish. Yes, it's extremely bullish. When we open up and we continue to move, it's extremely bullish. Now, based on what I just said on those 3 days of data in there, what else do you decipher? Do you see can you use in your analysis about these 3 days? And actually, we'll go all the way back to the picture. We're going to count the day before. So we're going to come down here and go to here. What do you notice? All right, good answers. It's a thrusting move, gap move, reaction to the election, all good. Not quite what I'm looking for. And what my goal is in this section, and is going to be going forward, is try to help you get inside of my head of the things that I look for day in and day out. It's a little scary in there, so some of you might not be welcome. You might not like it, right? All right, so we had no pullback. What do you notice here, 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 and even here? The wicks definitely did get bigger, Paula. I don't know if that matters as much, but you are right. That is an analysis that should be looked at. Does that make a difference? No wicks on the bottoms? Absolutely. PK, 100%. Not quite what I'm looking for, but yes, you are right. The candles are getting shorter and the top wick longer. You got it, Donald. I'm not going to read it out yet. Good, Brent. Kevin. You are right, Brenda. The candles are getting a little smaller. Okay. So a couple of you got it in there. The distance from where we closed to where we opened was X, whatever X is, right? So we look at this, and I'm going to be off a little bit. I know I am, right? But that's about $82, right? This gap up here was $18. This gap here was $3.70. Now, today might be a little bit bigger. It's $13. But my point is, we are, throughout these moves, we are seeing our gap get smaller. So when we get a gap up on day one, grab a tool, drawing tool. On day one, this gap up is just that. That first gap, it's a gap. It winds up being a gap and go. It was such a big gap. The expectation of pullback would maybe some, but not to fill the gap, that's for sure. Gap number 2 is known as a continuation gap. Gap number 3 is more known as an exhaustion gap. We're running, yeah, we gapped up, but whoo, man, it was a fast freaking run in there. And then the next day we went and rocked, and then we had a decent gap there, and I just need some rest. So it's an exhaustion gap. In many cases, the gap itself is a false gap. It tends to pull back. Now, we got some good reaction on Friday, and we've got a very small move up today. And for the very first time, we're seeing our open have a low that is lower in the last couple of days. Even on the day of election, right in here, we still had a, or whatever that date was, we still had not election. Yeah, that was the 5th. So even on that day, we still had a very tiny wick, but it was a very strong bullish candle. No matter how you slice it, it was a very, very strong bullish candle. Okay. Make sure I didn't miss anything I wanted to cover there. So when I look at this, and I do this back here, guys, position 1 in the chair. I'm back here, and I'm looking and I'm analyzing what's going on the screen, on the chart itself, and it's all done from back here. Bigger view. I am not tunnel visioned in when I'm all the way up here looking at that chart. I'm back here, hands are off the keyboard. I do it at night. No markets open that up. And, the regular stock market, at least today, isn't open. It may be in the near future, but today it's not open, right? Can't do anything on the keyboard anyway. It's too far away. But I'm running this analysis in my head to try to give myself time to work out a plan of what I'm looking to do next, right? So I had said that we were going to run up, and I've taken the ABC pattern off that we've had on there in the past because we blew right through it. We hit the 100 percentile level. It's done. These were lines I did not need right now, and I need to look at this chart more objectively now, differently now, and say, all right, when this happens, when the market makes its move, I'm going to get rid of some of these lines I put on the chart. When the market makes its move, what's our next step? We ran that ABC pattern before, and we came up in here, right near that Fibit, and it was great. Right? Actually, we can get rid of that blue box because that was part of that ABC pattern. It was just to show a little blue zone there. Right, so we've got a phenomenal move in here, but it really comes down to what's next. As we ran up the last runs, we ran up, we had 8, 10, 12, 15 days sideways, we get a pullback, another run up, we go 8, 10, 12, 15 days sideways, no pullback this time. We broke out and a little bit of a break higher, another sideways move, 8, 10, 12, 15 days, whatever it was, pullback, and then another drastic move. And that's what I'm looking for. Where is my next extension? Where is my next resistance level up above? If we scrunch the chart down, and you can see I've got the entire fib open and exposed at this point on purpose. Get rid of that orange bar. Right now, we're sitting above the 6,000. 6082 is our next resistance level, right? We have a fibit of 122, which means we move $61.10 a day, 61 bucks a day on average, right? We've got $82 about from where we are, 80 bucks from where we are to our fib line, right? From that 6,000 up to 6082. I know we're a little higher, but it's about $80. Close enough, okay? So are we going to make it there today? Generally, we don't normally move that much in a day. Can we? Yes, we certainly can. We've had 140-point moves, right? This was a massive move here. Not that we can, it's that we don't normally do that. Can we move 2 days of fibit worth in 2 to 3 days? The answer is yes, between 2 and 3 days. So we could easily get there by the end of the week. I don't see a problem with that. This week, I don't see a problem. Oh, let me back up. I'm not saying I think we're going to get there. If a move takes place, we could get there by the end of the week. But I'm not calling it there at this point, right? Because we have nothing historical to go off of. We have fib lines. We're going to look for combinations of levels. We've got other things, future forecasting that we do on fibs. And once I can come up with a new set of levels that I am comfortable with outside of we're looking at the next fib levels, then I will share them. But they're not secrets. I don't hide them. I let them out at every power hour. We talk about these types of things here, right? So I want to see at this point, we've got a big dissension, a big move away from our moving averages. Right? I would not mind seeing a pullback. So I've got the 8, the 21, and the 55 on there right now, and we are way, way, way away from you. Is there anything I could do right now to help moving averages become possibly helpful? I don't know if it will or not, but possibly helpful. Anything you can think of that we could do? Bingo, PK. It's exactly what I'm thinking. Good. So a couple of you got it. Come on. Right. There you go, Jennifer. Like I said, a couple of you pulled it in. What do we add the 5 EMA in there? Will that help us? I should have. All right, let's go back here. It's too faint. And I do it that way on purpose, by the way. Okay, there we go. So will that help us? The answer is no. Now, the immediate question that usually follows this when I discuss this with somebody is, well, can we make it faster than that? Can we do a smaller one? Can we make it a 3 or a, you can. But if you make this a 3 moving average, literally in 3 bars, in 3 days, the line is of no value any longer 3 days ago because it's already moved that far away, right? So it is, if you get a decent move up or down, you will have a dramatic shift in that line. So a 3 is tough. So right now, what we're seeing is the 5 is really not helping us yet. It may, but if we start pulling back, if the candles start getting into more normal range, I don't want to rely on a non-standard moving average to work off of. I want to rely on, ye old faithful, right? The 8, the 21. Those are the ones I really want to look at, not the 8. So the 5. So I'm going to take that 5 back off of there. So it's not really helping us any. It's not giving us anything. So I need to rely on existing confluences. I need to rely on the fib lines, both below and above, fibits if required, but that's what I have to work off of. I don't even have an ABC pattern to draw. You know, the A to B to C with that little pullback in there, that's not a pullback. Those ABC patterns, you want to see the pullback ideally where it moves down at least 50, if not 0.618. That's the ideal pullback. Doesn't have to be perfect. No line ever is perfect, but you do need that pullback or some type of pullback in there. We don't have anything to draw off of right now. So then the analysis tells me, wow, where do I want it to go? What do I see happening? What's the next phase for the S&P? Now, barring news that's coming out, we are hearing a lot of things about changes that are going to be made once Trump takes office. Are they good or are they bad? Yes, they are. It's all a matter of, and they're different good and bad. They may be good or bad for your life. They may not be good or bad for the market. May or may not be, right? You may love a change and the market will hate it. You may hate a change and the market will love it. What you've got to ask yourself, what you've got to not even ask yourself, train yourself on is when the market decides they like or dislike something from that, are you willing to forget about what it's done to you personally and capitalize on it? In other words, if you don't like a policy that the president puts in place, president-elect puts in place or is putting in place, but the market likes it, can you get away from your own thoughts about that process and go, you know, I'm not crazy about that, but if the market's going to move and I can make money on it, I'll make money on it. How many of you can do that? That just set aside whether you like the policy or not personally and say, you know what, if it's going to move and I can capitalize on it, I'll make the money. Give me a 1 for yes or 2 for no. And not everybody can do that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you say, I am not going to sway from my own... Listen, when I was a brand new trader, I was one that asked the question. We're sitting in a workshop, and we heard and I was not teaching, or I was just trading, working full-time at that time, full-time job. And we heard an announcement on the news, from news, that a plane had crashed somewhere, right? And I don't know who it was, American, United, whatever it was, whoever the airline was. And the guy in front of the room, the speaker, jumped online, placed a trade on an options trade. Nothing had moved yet. News was very slow to react to the market then. And then by the end of the second day, the option had gone from, I don't know, $6 to $40, whatever the numbers were. It was crazy, the move of it. And I had asked asked the question, and I've been asked it many times and repeated the same answer. But I don't really want to make money off somebody else's misery. And the speaker looked at me and said, if you don't want the money, or if you don't need the money, make the trade anyway, and then give it to those that were affected. So if you made $5,000, go ahead and donate it to the people's families that were affected by that plane crash. He said, the market's going to move one way or another. You may as well take advantage of that movement. And that's the way I look at it. Now, if your answer is no, I'm not going to do that, that's okay. That's okay. Right? You make that decision based on your personality, your risk profile, who you are, what you want to do as a trader. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? For me, if there's an opportunity, I'm going to take it. As long as it doesn't go against my morals, or I'm not putting somebody at harm or at risk. I'm not lying and hurting somebody. As long as those types of things are not happening, I'll do it. I'll do it. Right? Remember, the market is a zero-sum game. If you don't get in the game, the market maker will be on the other side of that trade that someone just took. Doesn't make a difference. The market maker has to cover it if no individual wants to. So it's not like the market stops trading because you choose not to trade or do that. Okay? Yeah, there you go. Jennifer said, I agree. Listen, it's okay. There you go, Will. Okay, so what do I see taking place then here? It's not a true confluence, but we've got a little bit of a blue zone. It's just too tight to be a true confluence. But we've got a little bit of a blue zone in here between that. I can't even get right to the red line. So that's close I'm going to get. That 59.81 and that 6,000, right? So what is that telling me? Let's unscrunch. Okay. So can I move it from here? Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. Better zoom, I can get it. We already were scrunched, that's why. So on Thursday of last week, we stretched into that blue zone. We pulled up and we failed. right? We opened up just below it on Friday. We ran up a little higher. We closed inside of the blue zone on Friday, right? Today, we got out of that blue zone. Now, that blue zone, think of it as the floor has a sheet of plywood down, and you're putting some tile on top of it. You got a nice ceramic tile, 3/8 of an inch thick, or granite, probably, if it's that thick, right? You got a nice tile going down on there, right? Very, very, very hard to break through that tile and that sheetrock and that plywood on the floor, right? So there's more strength there. Now, what I'd love to see happen here is I would love to see the market use it this way. I would love to see the market, if we closed here, let's say, I'd love to see the market move up, pull back, and bounce. Whether or not that happens intraday or closes there and bounces the next day, that's your call. That's your analysis. That's your decision on the way you want to see it. You have to look at it that way, not me. Right? What way do you want to take that entry? You're going to wait for it to close here and bounce, which means it closed here once, it pulled back again. That's what you would be doing if you waited. I'm going to take the bounce initially intraday. I'm not waiting. Right? I would be happy to take that bounce off of there to the upside. Now, I do have a little bit larger risk to the downside because of my blue zone in there. So that is definitely something to be considerate of, because if I set my stop somewhere in between there, it's very possible we get down into the blue zone and we bounce. So you've got to be able to make that decision on if you're going to take that or not, and take that stop and set it down here or in between, right? Brendan, we're going to go back over crypto in a little while. That's our topic for today. Although it's not as exciting any longer with Bitcoin being up $5,000 today, but that's all good. So right now, that's the pattern I'd like to see. We're looking at 60.82 as our resistance level. If we do break to the downside, I would not be disappointed with that. So either, okay, I would like to see this slow down a little bit. So the moving averages catches up. Right, they catch up a little bit. We get closer. Then if we took the bounce, the retest, and we take off, that would be nicer, okay? But my moving averages have to catch up. So either we can go sideways, which would be my preference for a little bit, or we could have this pullback to the next fib line and bounce, which would not be a problem at all, right? Because at that point, my moving average is right there. And if that's the case, we're going to have a really sweet setup. And we know that we've already broken through this blue zone, so we could plan on that being a target almost, not unequivocally, but almost without a doubt. Yep, that's a good target for us. Yep, I like it as a target. Okay, I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it. Right? I'm a big fan of it. So now I just laid out 3 scenarios. Close where it is today, break to the upside, you move to the upside, retest and bounce, take the trade. Go sideways the next couple of days, allow moving averages to catch up. Break to the downside, get to the next fib line, retest, bounce. We have more of a confluence there with our 8 moving average. So the one that's going sideways, I don't have a lot of opportunity in there, which may mean you're not doing a lot of trading in there, and that's okay. What am I doing? I'm waiting. I'm in position 1 in the chair, hands behind my head, lean backwards, just chugging along. And actually, on those days, if I don't like the pattern, I'm going to set an alarm, which will ring to my phone. If a trigger is hit, a target's hit, and I can walk away. And if it hits that target, I'll get an alert. I'll jump back either in my office if I'm close, or I can get on my phone if there's another trade that I want to place. But I'm going to use the S&P 500 to guide my analysis into yay or nay, should I be trading or not today? And again, that's just me. That's me. But I gave you 3 different ways of looking at the market. 3. You have to pick which one of those you're willing to trade, right? And if the news that comes out goes against what you think, your beliefs, are you still going to trade it, or are you going to pass? And there's nothing wrong with passing. Absolutely nothing wrong with passing. Nope, nothing whatsoever. There's no reason you have to be forced into doing something in trading. If you want to trade, trade. If you don't like it, don't. If you're not comfortable with that day, don't take the trade. There'll be plenty. Actually, that's not true. If you're not comfortable with that day, trade it anyway. Just do it on paper. It's the only way you're going to learn. The reactions, the emotions that you feel, that's the only way you're going to learn it, is that. Right? The absolute only way. All right, let me go see some of these questions here. Very good, Jennifer. I'm going to ask that question in a minute, so I'm not going to read it out loud, but congrats on that. Jim wrote, I've got Bollinger Bands on my daily charts. Bottom band is bounced off of it. It's closing outside of the upper band the last 3 days. It is possibly ready to close inside the upper band and possibly today or next day. I've noticed normally candles stay outside for 2 to 5 days on average. Yes, I have seen the same type of thing whenever I've applied Bollinger Bands. You don't get a lot of days on the outskirts. I call it 3 to 5, not 2 to 5, but 2 is a fib number as well. But yes, you don't get a lot of days that we tend to stay outside. Generally, big move like this, big news announcement, it could be more, but it is not. It is definitely the exception much more than it is the rule. Jim said if it comes back down to 59.17, it would also close the open gap and possibly bounce off of the ADMA. Yeah, so we've got this tiny gap in here, which I really am not concerned with, but this gap down here definitely is one to look at to fill that gap. Right, which brings us, that's what Jim's saying, brings us back down to that 59.18 level. We fill that gap, the 8 moving average is right there, and if we get a bounce. And then you'll just have what will be a decently strong resistance above head with that blue zone. But you are going to have to contend with that at some point, right? If it does pull back, you are going to have that. And you are going to have to learn to trade around that. And that's where, for me, analyzing the market at night, making decisions when the market is closed, no news is being thrown out at me, finding multiple switchback trades as potential trades for that day is a big plus for me, because that allows me to trade in either direction, one way or another. And if you want to know more about the switchback trades, go to Trade with Rob. Sign up for the free email service that we've got on that, which will send you an email that says, here are all the trades we are looking at today. And it's three of them. When we do them, it's 3 trades for a day. And we normally do it 3 days a week. We don't ever do it on Friday. I have a different training we do on Fridays for the weekend video. So we don't do it on Friday. So we look to do it Monday through Thursday. Ideally, I want to do it 3 times a week. And if you subscribe, not only will you get the 3 candidates that the video just came out, you're also going to get in your email the rest of the candidates that are on our list that maybe you don't have any idea who they are. But now we've got all these other switchbacks that are setting up that are potential for you to trade. All right. So there we go. So we've got a downside, we've got our upside. I want to look at the VIX while we're here. Woo, baby, baby, baby. And once we unscrunch, you can see that ugly big bar there. We get back off of there, we get this. So, wow. VIX has been on a massive roller coaster. This gap down was all from election, right? A little bit of a bounce back up on election day there, day after. And good continuation push down. We're at 15 right now. If we scrunch this down, right? I mean, we've had multiple days down at this 12 and jingle right here, down to the 12-ish level. So overall, VIX fear is fine, right? Yeah, I don't really have a lot of fear right now, right? So we're good there. Saw that one already. Okay. So we look at the S&P 500. I need to put on our agenda somewhere today's trades. So let's do that section now. Drop in the trades that you all did. It could be today, could have been from the end of last week, funded, non-funded, made money, didn't make money, broke even. I don't care. This is your accountability section. This is where you drop into the world and you put it out to the universe that I'm doing this, right? Good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. Jot it down or put it down. Give me the details. I'll share some with you today. We've had some really nice moves today. So let's see. We'll start with Jennifer since she already typed it in. I made almost $12,000 swinging from Friday to today on MSTR. It's a risk, but I'm happy it worked out. Yes, me too, happy it worked out. But congrats, that's a great setup, a great trade for 12K. 1% on SPY on Friday from Brenda. Very nice. Very nice. Guys, listen, if I've said it before, I'll say it again a million times. Everybody should be considering SPY. Everybody should be considering SPY as a potential trade every day. Hey, John, good job. Naked puts on NVIDIA, Shopify, Sava, cash flow of $1,600. Nice. A lot of congrats going out for other members, so that's very much appreciated. Let's see. For me, where do I have them? The Depot. Well, I got them checked off, so let's just do that. Home Depot. All right. So we got a gap and a pullback today. Yes, earnings are coming out very quickly. But if we look at the pullback today on Home Depot, we moved up, we pulled back on that 5-minute and bounced. There's the entry. You know, we've got support at 406.5, so 407.5, 408 was the entry for me, right? So at 407.5, you're right now trading at 410.5. You got a $3 move on the stock. And these are all non-funded trades, of course, but you got a $3 move on the stock, which would give you about a $2 move on the option, 2.25, somewhere around there on the option. So, I mean, very nice. Very nice. PK put in SPY down 124 bucks. Okay. Plus $20 on Home Depot. Nice. Good job on Home Depot. Yeah, way to go, traders. Exactly, Jim. Got to congratulate everybody. Jennifer said, I'm in a swing trade from Friday to today and under. My trade was near its high, but I have at least 30 days time until 30 days time I'm waiting. All right, so there you go. All right, so Home Depot turned out to be a decent little trade today. You can get out of that position and lock in a decent amount. Tesla was an aggressive entry for me. I like Tesla a lot. You know, here's the thing. I saw a post online the other day, or a comment from not a post. It was online, but it was a video. A newscaster saying Elon Musk has increased his wealth dramatically since the election because of his close proximity to Trump. Trump didn't buy any Tesla stock to make him more wealthy. All right, that didn't happen. So if you look at Tesla, Tesla had a massive move in there. If you look at Amazon had a massive move in there. So Jeff Bezos made a ton of money as well. A lot of CEOs, a lot of companies that had these types of moves were able to capitalize on that, right? On the election itself. So did Tesla make a really nice move? Yes. Listen, you know, there's an expression. When the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker are talking about a stock, it's probably time to get out, or definitely not the time to get in. And the reason I brought that up is my wife and I were talking about our portfolio earlier this morning, and she said, I wonder if it would have been a good thing to buy more Tesla stock yesterday or whatever it was, the day before, whatever. And I said, you know, when my wife, who has no interest in the market at all, when she's talking about should we buy this stock, yeah, the run might be over, right? Tesla's at $344 a share right now. I could see my cardiologist doing the jig, a dance in his waiting room because of how much of this stuff he says he owns. I've never seen the portfolio, but this is in a 30-minute visit to the cardiologist. We talk about Tesla for 25 minutes, and my heart, he goes, yeah, you're all good. Go home. Give me your $25 copay. It's like, wait, what happened? What? But what a great move on Tesla. So this is not a normal trade for me. Why? Because it gapped up as much as it did not pull back all the way to support. I want you to look at what did happen. Okay. Now I purposely inserted an 8 moving average in here today on this chart. So this is the fib line, right? The 355.02. We gapped up and we pulled back, and I didn't wait for the pullback all the way down to the fib, right? Which would have been that 355.02. Low was 336.51 versus 335.02. So I barely got down there. My closing price here was 338, we'll call it, versus 336, 335. So $3 move, right? So we were too far away from that standpoint. But when we came down and tested on the 8 moving average, and then we opened flat and we dropped. Okay, this was not a bounce in here, but this candle came back up above the 8. That was the entry point, right? And then it's just a matter of managing that trade of where am I going to pull the trigger to get out and call it a day, right? So it was more of an aggressive entry on this, right? Definitely more of an aggressive entry on Tesla than I normally do, but I thought it was one worth taking on Tesla. United Healthcare, right, was not aggressive, but it opened up just below, and I need the break above that 618 level right in there. So let's go look at a 5-minute chart on United and see what happened. So we closed above. Actually, let's go look at 1 minute. Dude, I just got too many candles already. Here we go. All right. So here's the 1 minute, the start of the day. We pushed up. We closed right here, which was about 621-ish. That support line is 618.5. We closed just below, and then we bounced. And that's, well, Robert, closed below. How do you take that trade? Listen, support doesn't mean it never breaks through. Support means it's a level. You've basically put a little bit of a bracket around it. It may come near it, never get there. It may get a little bit below it. In that bracket is what I'm looking for. We got a nice little bounce off of there, and that gave us an opportunity on, excuse me, United Healthcare as well. So, and a good run, and then it's just gone sideways. And you'll find that a lot. Where did we we ran out of steam today. Yeah, it was 10 o'clock. So by 10:30-ish or so, yeah, these were 1 minute. Let's go back to a 5 just so we see a better view there. So right about 10:05, we got at 10:15, we started to go sideways. We pulled back a little bit, we were sideways there. Yeah, Muskmouth. Exactly, PK. He's an interesting character. You can't listen, you can't take anything away from him. I mean, the guy is brilliant. And those that argue about how smart he is or his decisions in business are dumb. Yeah, he got rid of 80% of the overhead in not Tesla, sorry, in TikTok, in Twitter, rather, in Twitter, and yet they're still making money. So go figure, right? He didn't like all the overhead and all that was there. It was not run properly. He's got a good idea how to run companies between SpaceX, Twitter, Tesla, and the likes. He's done okay for himself. Okay. So what do we got? We went through follow us. Let me bring us back into the presentation because I kind of laid it out to help not forget, to never forget. Oh, all right. So we got some things coming up, guys. Inner Circle is coming up tonight at 7 p.m. The 18th is our next 2-hour. Fibonacci Trading Mastery. The very first one is this evening. Now, do me a favor if you would, Andrew. Can you drop a link to that in? Folks, I am teaching a live online Fibonacci class. If you've taken Trading You from us, you know exactly how I'm teaching it. It's done 2-hour stints of, we're going to teach tonight for 2 hours. Then we've got the 18th, the 22nd of this month. And then we're getting into the Thanksgiving holiday, so we're not going to teach around there. And then the 2nd and the 5th so far of next month. The goal is to get all of this finished this year, but fairly inexpensive for this. It's $697 to come into this live training, which again starts this evening. So if you have an interest in that, go ahead and I'm sure Andrew's looking for that link. Go ahead and click on that and get yourself in there. Let's see. Actually, can I bring us there? Yep. So let me do this. I can just copy that. Hopefully, it lets me send out to everyone. Oh, there we go. He got it in before I did. Excellent. I appreciate it, Andrew. Thank you. You're awesome. All right. Mastermind coming up tomorrow night. And then we've got Trading You on the 14th. Everything else is the following week. So Power Hour, Trading Coaches Playbook on regular schedule. Putting futures in your present. The last one Brandon is doing is Wednesday night. All right. So take advantage of that coming up for this week. Okay. Excellent. Yep. And we just dropped that in there as well. Right. Andrew just dropped that in. Sorry about that. So weekly topic, 2024 Bitcoin to 100K. So let me see if I can open my trade station. I'm just going to stop my share for a moment, folks. Just give me a sec. Let me go ahead and log into my trade station because I purposely logged out. So I want to be able to get Bitcoin's prices, right? So give it a moment for it to settle in. And we'll go and look at Bitcoin. So I am using the app from Robinhood for my Bitcoin purchases. I know I could do better elsewhere with it. I like it. It's fairly easy to use. Bitcoin is near $85,000 a coin right now, up $3,456. So we can go over to Omega Charts. I don't remember if it's $BTC. Yeah, so $BTC. This is Bitcoin Euro. Bitcoin Euro. We're going to look for Bitcoin Dollar. You got it on Bitfinex and GDAX. You got it on Bina, but that's Tether. So we're just going to go with the US dollar. We'll go on Bitfinex. All right, 76,000. There we go, 84,000. Here is my, and this is on a 5 minutes. Let's just go to a daily. Be easier to see. All right, so you could see once again, if you go back to, this is the 6th, right? What a great move. So that was Wednesday, and then there's Thursday, and there's Friday, and there's Monday. Oh, wait, there's Saturday. And then there's Monday, there's Sunday, right? So we have 7 days a week. We have the ability to trade this, right? 7 days a week. Let's go get actually futures. Okay. 7 days a week to trade it, which I do like the idea of that. Fairly easy to do these days. You know, open up your account, get your wallet, make sure it's a secure wallet. I do like Robinhood's wallet. It's a pretty secure one. You can get wallets that are offline. You could transfer it out of Robinhood into your own offline wallet, lose the wallet, forget the password, whatever it is, your cryptos are gone, right? Now, when we put this topic together last week, we were near that 65,000. So that still gave us 35,000 points to move to the upside, because that's about how far in advance I picked the topic for this week's class. And we just skyrocketed from the election, and we've gone up ever since, right? We had a couple of days of flat. We've taken off. So I do believe we have the opportunity to get to that $100,000, and I do believe we can get there this year. And there was reasons for it. You know, where the SEC, the head of the SEC right now is dead set against crypto. They could tell you that they're not. My opinion is they're dead set against it. They want to regulate the hell out of it. And I'm good with regulations, but we're talking ridiculousness of making it so much more expensive just to get your hands on it because of paperwork, you know, the mining of the coin itself, okay? Bitcoin does have a very limited number of coin available, so they can and will at some point run out. Excuse me. Ethereum, which is ETH, Ethereum, right? If we $sign ETH, see, so the first one that comes up is Ethereum against Bitcoin. I'm just going to go Ethereum against the dollar. We'll do Bitfinex again. I've got to give it a moment for today. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so brought the weekend trades in. So we're over 3,300 right now. Now we are nowhere near the high right now on Ethereum, right? We were up over 4,000. We're at 3,300, but we're a good way there, folks. You could see we were in this 2,250 to 2,500 ish range, 2,600 range for months from mid-July, right? And again, the all-time high, I mean, I can go back further. Actually, that's the all-time right there. It's just about 5. All right. So overall, there's a lot of room to run, but we do, we're not daily. Okay. We do have this high, lower high, lower high, and right now, lower high. So we need to clear these highs right here. So if you're looking to say, I want to put some crypto in my portfolio. I'm not opposed to crypto in your portfolio, but it should be monies that you feel are risk monies, in my opinion. You'll make your own decision what it is in your portfolio. For me, it's risk. When I bought my crypto, it is part of my risk capital, meaning I have the portfolio broken up into how much do I feel, and my portfolio is not in one account. How much do I feel I want to have in stock and options? How much am I willing to put in each trade? That's all part of my risk profile, right? How much in the higher risk positions, right? I do not do things like penny stocks. I do not do things like these off-brand cryptos that are 0.0000047 cents per share, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't. That's part of your risk profile. I don't have time to chase after it all day long, so I'm not going to look at those positions. You might either have the time and or want to do it, and that's okay. For me, it isn't. I like Ethereum. I like Bitcoin. Ethereum does have, it's a second or third gen coin. I forget now, but there is a whole different architecture to it. It's a lot cheaper to mine, which is basically back checking to make sure that the coins are not being stolen. Do I think we need some regulation in there? Yes. Trump has vowed to get rid of basically day one, the person at the SEC, and put someone in there that puts crypto with more value. But when I say more value, putting it that the US has more value, because right now there's something called the clearing currency, and we are it. Every dollar that gets traded between other nations clears through the US. When I say every dollar, there are countries now that have stopped doing that have started to clear themselves or go through China. And we can't live properly if we don't have that as part of our country. So, but it is going to keep pushing that way. So we need to, in my opinion, and many others, experts that say the same thing, we need to figure out a way that we can use a crypto as a clearing currency, one that we have a major stake in, that we would get the majority of whatever monies are cleared with, that it comes in through the US. And then that literally becomes the currency. Do I think we'll see it in my lifetime? I do, but I think we've got a decade or so before anything gets near happening. But I do think we could see crypto become a clearing currency of the world, a global clearing currency. You know, you've got the euro. This would be the world. Okay, everybody's involved. Everybody gets to play. All right. So would I buy it today? The answer is absolutely not. I would hold off. I would not buy it today. I would definitely wait for pullbacks. If you're not in already, don't look at FOMO, fear of missing out. You've missed out. I would not. Again, personally, you may think I'm wrong and want to jump in now. Go for it. Go for it. I'm not opposed to that, as long as it's your risk, right? That you're making the decision for yourself. Don't listen to somebody else that says Bitcoin's going to 150 by next month. Yeah, maybe, but unless they've got some inside information that's illegal, then they're going to jail. I'd probably be cautious with that. All right, review of your stocks. I knew something was missing. My chat box closed up when I shut it down when I did the unshare. Roman said, amazing class today. I like how you set it up today. All right, got to go. Excellent. Good. I appreciate that feedback, Roman. I don't know, Jennifer, losing a wallet password and you lose your money, and that concerns me, but I will trade Mister and Coinbase. Yeah, Coinbase is up crazy today too, right? So what stocks do y'all want me to take a look at? Drop them in. All right. Let's see. Jim said, let's go to Omega charts. If Tesla closes today as a doji, could that be an evening star pattern possibly developing? Let's go back to Tesla. Yeah, I mean, yes, it definitely could be, but it depends what tomorrow looks like. Tomorrow's candle really will help determine that. It's not just based on today, because I don't want to call something that's in the middle of nowhere a star, right? Tomorrow could gap up, and then it's no longer a star. So yeah, but it could, Jim. Kevin's asking for D-Dog. And I appreciate you putting that in there, Kevin. Kevin said long. That's something I'm going to start asking you folks in this section. I want to be more accountable to getting things done on time in Power Hour, but I want you to be more accountable and helping me when you give me the details of the trades you want me to look at. So when you're looking at D-Dog, why? You bullish, you bearish, you I don't know-ish, covered call. What is your reasoning behind looking at that particular stock? And I should put in all symbols there. All right. So let's see. So here's, and I don't remember, Kevin, if we looked at this one last week or what, but I've looked at this for somebody recently. There we go. Okay. This channel does present some interest in there. Okay. So if we go back to template number 1, where we have no moving averages, I'm going to back the fib up for now. Let's see. Wrong one. All right, so we got a little bit of a channel going on in there. It's not very big, 121 to 126, 126 to 131, right? So we've gone down and moved in that range, and real simple, if my mouse lines closed right on top of that when I clicked on it. So if we can get the pullback to that 121 and the bounce, you're looking at 126 as target 1 and 131 as target 2. All right, just a little thin. T1 and T2, right? Or right in there, right? So exit half the trade just under 126, the other half just under 131. If you only have half, you have one contract, get out of all of it at 125 or so, somewhere in that range, all right? But I needed to come back and bounce. It doesn't have to come all the way to 121, but I would like it to get pretty close to it. All right, I hope that helps, Kevin. Let me know. Rick's asking for LRCX. Any other candidates, drop them in, folks. All right, so LRCX, we're going to go back to moving averages. That's exactly what you were thinking. Good, Kevin. You're welcome. You're welcome. Glad it was helpful. So LRCX, which is Lam Research. So Rick, I like it to the what do we got here? 72 to 81. Oh yeah, we need a fib it in there for sure. Give me the 118. Give me a negative 136 if I don't already have it. Don't. Give me 118. C. All right. So we could fail right off of that 77 level, Rick, which I do like a lot. 72 is support. We're at a 1, rank of 1. We look at a 5-minute candle. Let's go look at a 1-minute candle today. Yeah, so we failed, fell down here, came back up and retested. Our closing price here was 76.70, and we're at 76.83, 13 cents away. Good failure, bounce, and then sideways move. But obviously, Monday morning quarterback is easy, right, Rick? So that would have been an ideal place. But I would not mind a retest of that fib line all over again. Back into that 77 and a fail. Now that today was more of a gap and go type pattern, a retest and a fail down to 72 would be great. Okay. So what did y'all think of the format? Give me a 1 for yes, a 2 for no. Did you like it? You're welcome, Rick. Did you like the format of the class? Anything you would do differently? I get it. That happens all the time, Jennifer, when internet goes out, nothing you can really do. Use your phone, as you said. You'll take the trades you can find. Good. A lot of good comments back. Some written, I like it very much. Others just ones and yeses, which is fine. Jim wrote, yes, I guess the one thing to do differently is to tell us when that segment will end. And I'm not going to tell it in advance. How about that? Because I'm not here to have people cherry picking. I'm going to come in for these 4 minutes only, right? But you'll know the general format of what we're going to look at. But that I will have a listing for, but just not today. Good format. Good. Excellent. All right. Everyone, listen. If you're interested in the fib class, which is tonight, it starts this evening. I'm going to teach live. Make sure you reach out to that link. Go ahead and get subscribed to that. If you're in a circle, you would have a special link from Amelia. So make sure you take advantage of that. Otherwise, I will see many of you this evening. Have a great one. God bless. And I'll see you all at our next update, folks. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.